What's up, everybody? Welcome in. It is March 1st, the first day of a new month, and we are back coming at you. Who Got Game, the number one stop for everything related to the NBA, fantasy basketball, talking sports, lifestyle, in the culture. I'm Jason Zone Fisher, and of course, we are joined by the legend, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Baron Davis. Let's get him in the house. BD, what's up, my man? How you been, Baron?
I told you I couldn't hear anything.
Well,
Tell me.
nice. Well, this is what happens when we do a live broadcast. You never know. That was BD making a little guest appearance, pretending to guess what I was saying, but we'll bring him on in just another second. This is live streaming, what it's like. Thank you for joining us here today. The NBA season is almost at the halfway point. Can you believe it? All-Star Weekend is next weekend. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Fantasy Basketball League up until now. And here he is, Baron Davis.
I'm
Now he
back.
hears me. What's up, BD? How you doing?
What's up, my dog? I'm back. See, had some little technical difficulties. You know what I mean?
It's
I
live.
told
You
him.
just got to roll with the punches. Can you
I
read lips?
told
You don't
him.
need my audio.
I told him before the show I couldn't hear you the first time. You know what I mean? If I can't hear, I can't hear. I can hear you now. Man, I'm glad to be back, my dog, Jay Zone. Man, we
Yeah, man.
am I in first place in fantasy? I haven't checked lately.
Yeah, far from
Let me.
it. You haven't checked. That's pretty convenient because you're out of the playoffs right now. Your team is sinking faster. Actually, let's look at these standings. There you go. You, Team Bart Oatmeal, are in ninth place out of 14.
I'm
The
right
top eight
there.
will
I'm right
go on. You're
there.
4-6. What's going
I'm
on with your
right there.
squad, man?
Man, my squad is hurt.
Mm,
My squad's
uh-huh.
hurt. My
I don't
squad
know.
is hurt. COVID has hurt my squad. My squad is hurt. And then, I got into this whole Bitcoin NFT kick for about
Oh,
a good week and a half. And,
yeah.
kind of just lost focus on who I was starting. And, nobody wants
Hmm.
to trade with me, dude. You put a
Yeah.
block. Oh,
Yeah,
let's
actually,
talk
I
about
tried making a
what
trade
you
with you.
did to me
I tried making a trade with
the
you, and
last
you had to
time.
go cry to the commissioner. Who? Let's bring him on too. Let's bring in our commissioner,
Yeah.
Black Trey. Trey Edwards is in the house.
Yo,
Trey,
what's up?
what's up? I made a trade with BD. You had to
Right.
veto that. What happened?
Tell him,
Man, it was.
commish.
Listen, I ain't gonna take blame for that. That's the co-commissioner right there. I got to pass that off on.
Man,
But I made a blockbuster trade that was pretty dumb, and it is.
it
It
was.
has.
I
It
could
has
have told you that.
backfired for me. It is a
Yeah.
dumpster
Yes.
fire. Pass first is last in the league. We are 1-9, and I
Oh,
also
Yep.
face off against Barron tonight. Well, this week.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You go get. I got to get
God
back in the
bless.
playoffs. If you want to make a trade, I can help you out. Nobody wants to trade with me, dude. That's the whole
yeah,
point of fantasy people. Trade,
bro.
make
BD,
trades.
I'm in our league right now. It's on the Sleeper app. That's what we've been using, and I have had a trade pending with you for months here. I offered you Terry Rozier and Cole Anthony for DeMar DeRozan, and you're just sitting on that. No action, no response.
no dice.
Nah, man, no dice. You can't get no dice on that. DeMar is having an incredible year.
Uh
If you
huh.
think about it, just filling up the stat sheet. I'm not a stat guy, so I know, but he's been giving me, the 25s, the 30s, the fives, the fours, the threes, the twos, still like he doing it all right now for San
Hmm.
Antonio, and people sleeping on the Spurs. But I just think that if they can get LaMarcus Aldridge just kind of working that five, you know what I mean, and down the stretch they're gonna be tough to beat, you know, in late game situations.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do, though. They got this mix of young talent and the veterans like DeRozan, like LaMarcus Aldridge, guys whose contracts are up at the end of the year. Are they going to make moves? Are guys going to get traded out? Or are they going to roll with what they got, try to make that playoff push and see where they go? So still a lot to unfold with the Spurs and the trade deadline that's coming up in a couple weeks. Maybe it'll help your squad out because both of you guys could use it when it comes to fantasy basketball right now.
Man, you
I
ain't
need a
lying.
prayer. I don't need no trade.
Trey, who do you think who do you think is gonna get traded at this deadline, or what do you feel about this trade, or tell the people about this trade and how you feel about it, compared to like a regular NBA season trade?
I think it's more vital because the teams that were picked as the favorites are struggling. And then also everybody's trying to win now. They see it. They look at the Lakers and they say, oh, Anthony Davis is out. Maybe we can make a push. Maybe this gets us some type of momentum. This puts us in front. And you look at, guys like, guy that you play with, Blake Griffin, still serviceable. That is looking for a new home. You see it. And you're working out. You seen Derrick Rose get moved earlier in the year, and look at the Knicks. They're in the positive direction. You got guys like Andre Drummond. You got JaVale McGee that, it's pretty much a big man factory in Cleveland right now. Yep. But they can work. It can work out in their favor. And, does the Nets have enough? Do they need an extra player? Do they go get PJ Tucker for some picks? Like those are the things. It's going to be the important pieces. Boston struggling. How much do you want to commit to this season alone, or do you want to play the long game? And I think that's what kind of plays in the factor. You got Trevor Ariza still working out, but is an Oklahoma City Thunder player, and no one, like in those situations. So what works in these teams, favor and, salary cap and how moving on that and trying to make it happen. So, there's plenty of moves that can be made, and also the buyout market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jay, talk to me about, the Celtics, man. Why are the Celtics struggling? Like they coming in.
Yeah, for years everyone's been saying Brad Stevens, coach of the year, one of the greatest coaches in the game. But this year, clearly, like who takes the blame? You got to look at Brad Stevens.
Hot seat.
There's so much talent there right now, and he's not getting the job done. He's got to change up something because they've got two All-Stars, Jaylen Brown having a career year, Jason Tatum getting it done.
All-Stars.
Kemba's been, a step slow. He's not fully healthy. He's trying to get back into the rhythm. They got a lot of big men, too, splitting minutes who can play. Daniel Tice, Robert Williams, who we're going to talk about later in the show, and Tristan Thompson. They've got the pieces. Now, they've had some injuries, and Marcus Smart being out, that definitely hurts. But they are too good of a team to be fighting for a playoff spot. The Knicks should not have a better record than the Boston Celtics.
You know what? I totally agree. I feel like, sometimes there's great coaches, and sometimes you need great coaches who can coach great talent, right? Because right now, when you're looking at Boston, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, every game you should have to worry about both, right? It should be the 1-2 punch, right? They should be able to get off, wiggle. I think there's too much opportunity and equal opportunity in Boston for them to be a championship team. I had them winning last year, and they just totally tanked during the bubble because nobody was comfortable at the end of the game, right, to take over the game. You feel
I'm glad you lobbed me to that, because this is a similar situation of what's going on in Brooklyn, where Kyrie stepped in when they acquired James Harden and said, look, you're the point guard. I'm going to be the shooting guard and I'm going to shoot. That's no role identity in Boston. It's just a guy that's trying to figure it out. You got your own coach saying, Jaylen made, you draw up a play for Jaylen Brown. He makes the shot, wins the game, but he goes back and says, oh, well, Jason Tatum's our guy still. You know what I mean? Like, you don't do that. You know what I mean? You got to find those type of situations where either you got a Batman and a Robin. You can't have two Batmans. It doesn't work that way, and the establishment of Boston, fans turning on Kemba and not really kind of grooming the situation of him being injured. And then you got them bringing up X basically in Kyrie Irving saying, oh, this is all his. No one's taking the blame right now. And I think it falls back on coaching and trying to regroup that locker room. But then, is Marcus Smart that important to this roster?
Absolutely. He's the Robin.
Okay.
Right?
Defensively, he's one of the best defensive players in the league, too. When you need to stop at the end of the game. And that intensity, you know about that, BD, from all your years playing. You need someone who just has that heart, that grit, that no-quit attitude, and that's who Marcus Smart is for that team.
I agree. And I do want to challenge one of Trey's thoughts is that, you don't need two Batmans. You can have a Batman, a Spider-Man, a Captain America. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
So you just got to know.
Be a star in your role.
Yeah, you got to know that, Jason Tatum can dominate the game in a whole different way. You dig what I'm saying? like offensively, the kid is probably one of the most gifted and most unstoppable offensive weapons, right? Jaylen Brown, right, is one of the most gifted two-dimensional weapons, right? And has the potential to be an offensive 20 to 25 a night scorer. I don't know if that's where he's at, but he should be that as well as one of the top defenders in the league alongside of Marcus Smart as that Robin, right? So you can have a Spider-Man and you can have a Batman and you can have a Captain America. That's what they got over there in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? But you still need the Robins, you need the people in the Justice League department to be able to put all that shit together.
Word up.
We got the whole Marvel universe coming together right now. This is amazing. Well, we always bring it back to a fantasy basketball perspective too, and I think Boston is just too talented. They're going to figure it out. So I would definitely be looking to acquire some Celtics players or ride some of them in the second half of the season. They're going to start piling up some W's and figure it out. Are they going to be a top seed in the East? I don't know, but they're going to be in the playoffs. So that would be my advice to anyone out there. Maybe now is the right time to try to trade for some Boston Celtics players. But now I'm about to bring on our special guest here tonight, because on Who Got Game, we always have amazing people stopping by. You never know who's going to come through. That's part of the fun here, the action and excitement of Who Got Game. And we have a WNBA guard from the Minnesota Lynx, Lexi Brown. You see, she's a 3-time All-American in college. She graduated from Duke. She had an incredible collegiate career, was the 9th overall pick in the WNBA draft a couple of years ago, and then traded to the Minnesota Lynx, where she's currently balling. And she was in the bubble. Lexi, what's up? Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Who Got Game.
Well, she got game. She got game. She got game.
You got game for sure. Lexi, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Now, one other thing that is a fun fact about you is that your father, Dee Brown, played in the NBA for a long time, had an incredible career with many different teams, won the dunk contest. When did you feel like you were able to be Lexi Brown and not Dee Brown's daughter? Because I'm sure coming up at first, that's how people say, oh, that's Dee's girl. But then you prove that, like, you're winning awards, you're All-American, you're recognized for your own merits, for yourself. When did it oh, yeah, that's Lexi's dad, kind of the other way around?
It really depends on who I talk to. And, there's the older, basketball fans who are, know who my dad is, fans of his. So it's always going to be, I'm always going to be Dee's little daughter to them. But, people more my age and younger, some of them don't even have any idea who my dad is at all. So, that's just my dad. I think, though, probably the last 2 years, I've been able to, establish myself as, my own person. And really, it doesn't really have much to do with basketball at all. I mean, I think I've just developed this whole personality and persona separate from basketball that people, love and appreciate. And I think that's been, really fun for me.
Well, a cool way that you get to pay homage to your dad, who, make the Reebok pumps famous, is that you're a Reebok athlete yourself. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Reebok, and I'm sure we'll get BD back on here. He's probably interested to hear more about that too. You hear his name when it comes to Reebok all the time lately.
I just signed with Reebok recently in the last few months. I think obviously they've had a relationship with my father since before I was born. So we always just had a really good relationship with the people in that, company. I'm not really sure why we didn't go with Reebok, right when I got drafted, but I think it's all about timing, and the timing has been, perfect. Reebok has been great to me. They've sent me so much stuff. I have so many shoes. I have so much clothes. I actually got a pair of the pumps a few days ago. So I just did a nice little photo shoot with those. And I think that's just really cool. Like, they're kind of re-releasing the whole thing. And my dad is he's trying to act real cool about it. But I know he's really excited to see the younger generation of people get excited about, his pumps and, dunk contest. And he usually, it's perfect timing right around All-Star. He gets his little moment during the dunk contest. Literally every single year, it's the same. So for it to be happening, around All-Star Weekend, and even a little bit before All-Star Weekend. I'm really happy for him, and I'm so excited to be a part of it.
That's so
dope.
Great. I wanted to chime in. One, you got game. Like who did you watch, and like who do you pattern your game after?
Growing up, so when I get asked this question, and I always am like, why do we always compare our games to NBA players, which I do. So I'll say both.
No, whoever.
Yeah. So my WNBA player is Christy Tolliver. She plays for the Sparks, and she went to Maryland, which is why she's one of the top reasons why I chose Maryland, is because I thought our games were very similar. She's still in the league, so when I say that, it's so weird for me because like we play against each other, and I'm like, I used to look up to you, like you're my favorite player, and then we're like guarding each other. So I thought that's always funny to me. And then in the NBA, Dame is my favorite player. I think we have similarities as far as range and basketball IQ, but I think my overall game is probably more similar to Klay Thompson, and I really love watching Klay play. Yeah. I'm really upset that he's been hurt for so long because he's one of my favorite players to watch and watch film on and stuff.
That's dope.
Yeah, you're a shooter. You're calling out some shooters. That range and that stroke right there. That's right.
Who's a better shooter, you or your dad? You don't even have to answer that question.
I was going to say, we probably know that.
You didn't have to.
I got him on that. Everything I got in the shot because I didn't get any of his athleticism, not an ounce. So,
do you guys argue over like whose game was nicer? Like Dad, for real, like there's no way you can.
It's not even like an argument. Nicer. It's more like, Lex, do you know who I am? Like that's how the conversation goes.
Is that where he goes with it?
He got it all.
Really,
but you have more accolades. You have more accolades.
Yeah, and he does give me my props for that. He's like, you on paper. He's like, on paper you accomplish way more than I ever did. But like you must not know who I am. Sometimes you go put up in heights. Okay, we know you did that. Okay, we get it.
I like that. A little
legend, man. Shout out to
a little family rivalry. That's a healthy thing. Now, you were in the bubble, obviously, in Orlando last season. What was the bubble experience like for you and the WNBA?
Well, our bubble was actually in Tampa. It was at IMG Academy. So
okay.
A little bit north of Orlando, not
That's
far.
right. That's right.
It was up and down. I think they did a really good job of getting it together. It was a really nice bubble where we stayed was really nice. But just the overall experience, like you just kind of were like trapped in there. And, it was just hard. I think everyone dealt with it differently. I ended up having a concussion in the bubble and dealing with that. So that was really hard because when I first got there, like I loved it. Like I was like, oh, you used to play basketball all day. Then I was making my little YouTube video vlogs. I vlogged the whole time I was there. People really enjoyed that. I, kind of got my teammates involved. Players from other teams were involved. So overall, I mean, I would give the experience like a 4.5 out of 10. But
you'll never do it again.
We finished the season, COVID free, and I think we did a really good job of, following rules, and the protocols were really great. I think we just made the best out of it.
Yeah, 4.5 out of 10. Wow, that's a.
I can only say that now because I don't think we're going back into a bubble. But when they did ask us, it was like an overwhelming, absolutely not. We're not going back into the bubble. So.
Yeah. Well, it's a once in a lifetime, hopefully, experience that doesn't have to happen again, but something that you got to experience that not many people did or ever will. So something you'll always look back on that you survived the bubble and you got to experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Basketball all day, every day. That's right. I also wanted to ask you, there was some big news in the WNBA recently with the sale of the Atlanta Dream, which is big news. Everyone's really happy about that. And Renee Montgomery, a player, she's a co-owner of the Dream. Lexi, what are your thoughts on that, on the ownership change, on Renee becoming an owner now in the league, a part owner of the team? What are your feelings on that? It's big news.
so dope. And the best part about it is she announced her retirement and then like a week later announced her ownership. Like that's some like boss movement. Like what? But Renee has been like bossing up on everybody, you know, ever since she announced she was going to opt out of the season. And to see her, you know, achieving things that, you know, off court that she wanted to achieve has been really motivational. It's been really cool to see. I personally am just really happy that we can wash our hands of, you know, our previous owner. I think that narrative kind of took over, you know, a lot of stuff. So I think this season we can, you know, get back to focusing on things that we care about, that things that we think are important, and, you know, playing great basketball. Because I feel like if she was still an owner, that would have like taken over our entire season. So I'm glad that we were able to handle that.
Yeah, for sure. Trey, I know you're in Brooklyn. You've been covering the Nets this season. What have you heard any of the guys talking about the WNBA, about that ownership move within the team or around the league?
Well, I mean, it's just a lot of buzz going into this. Is year 25 for the WNBA. So, you know, they got big plans for that season. And just just to piggyback off of what Lexi says, like, you know, Renee's been off the court commentary. She got her hand in everything. So now to be a co-owner, that's just like inspirational. But then who else follows in that, you know, in those footsteps to become, you know, a co-owner or, you know, a majority owner, you know, in those situations. And hopefully, you know, this is just the only beginning of one sport to another. So, you know, everybody else is just, you know, supportive, you know, and I think the only people that's really kind of always saying some negative stuff is guy fans that, you know, try to take a jab at it. But if you really watch, you know, the game, you're really supporting this because this is major in the sports, especially what they've done.
Yeah, absolutely. All
right. So I wanted to ask something. Hold on, Jay.
Yeah. Get up in here. You're now. Let's go.
Hold on, bro.
He was getting his 30 attempts up, man.
You can't just be asking Lexi all the questions. You know what I mean? I want in too.
Get in.
Ask you a question, please. No, I wanted to talk about, you know, one, just, you know, women's basketball in general, and, you know, a lot of times just being, I would say, underestimated and undervalued, but also being the pioneers in the social justice reform and really being the ones to, you know, stand up, right? And create, you know, a lot of the language, a lot of the protests, a lot of the, you know, engagement. Can you speak to that? And you know, just I wanted to. That was my question off of the, you know, off of the Dream ownership, but just it was something before that. Can you talk about just the unity with women's basketball?
Yeah, I mean, even before I got to the league, the WNBA has always been, you know, the group that speak out about all types of social injustices, not just, you know, the Black Lives Matter stuff. They talk about, you know, the gay things, trans, like literally any topic that, you know, is close to anybody's heart in the entire league. Like they're gonna have the backing of the entire league, and I love that about us. And there's only 144 of us. And I love saying that because it's such a small number and we're just such an elite group of women. And the fact that we can move so seamlessly together all the time about things like this is something that we're very, very proud of. And I think we don't do it. Obviously, you don't do things like that to be acknowledged and things like that. But I think that this year was the first time everyone was like, dang, like they really did that. And I was in Atlanta during, you know, all the election stuff. So, which I thought that was funny because I'm like one of the few players that actually live in Georgia off season that like had something to do with that election going down. And we saw, it was a lot. Like I've never seen an election being advertised for in this manner. I was getting calls all day from all types of random numbers. So to see that, you know, come to fruition, voting, we don't speak her name, voting her out, get her out of her seat, flipping the state. Like that's something that we're super proud of as a league.
And you are to be commended for it. We really appreciate that. And, you know, I always say that, you know, there's not enough light, you know, kind of being shined on women's basketball. And, I love what you all are doing now as far as, taking brand ownership, right? Like you're vlogging, you guys are creating your brands, collaborations, right? And you're doing it in your own authentic way. Can you just, speak to like now just women's sports in general and, how that's like how it's growing, right? And now it's starting to get, it's just due, even with the shoe contracts, more people getting shoe contracts and things, but
Oh, we lost
Well,
BD.
anyway, I could,
Yeah, I was just say you can answer some of them questions.
I just see like
A
a
lot of them.
unity. Yeah, I see like a unity happening in women in sports. I think the biggest criticism I always hear about female sports in general is the lack of like a female fan base, which, there's not really a big female fan base for men's sports either. So when people say that, I understand where they're coming from, but it doesn't always make sense to me. So sometimes you kind of have to step outside of your sport and maybe go into different avenues that maybe women will be interested in. So for me, for example, I love getting dressed. I love dressing up. I love hair, makeup. I know this is not what this show is about, but that's like kind of my lane. And to be able to
Trey wear makeup.
Hey man,
Jason gets his makeup done for the show.
you see my glow. First of all, we don't have no problem with skincare.
And even though I've seen guys wash their face and their hair and their bodies and their floor with the same products and they have clear skin, and I'm just like, I don't understand.
No maintenance.
Hey,
Yeah.
But,
It's the belief. It's part of the belief. You know what I mean? That all things will clean.
this
man,
is a,
Detergent.
this is a this is a
detergent
pro
cleans
gender
acne.
skincare podcast.
I'm like,
That's right.
what? Even my little brother, I'm just like, he has beautiful skin, and I'm like, you don't even like taking showers. Anyway, but,
You want to give us some beauty tips though? I mean, you're looking good in your photos, Instagram. You got any like moisturize? What's the key?
the biggest thing is to drink water
Ooh.
all day. And I think that's like the most generalized. Oh, okay, look, I got mine right here.
I
Showing off. Hey, it's not about the size. doesn't
it's my
always matter.
lifestyle, man. Did you drink water today? Y'all
Yeah,
get the
and
tweet later.
I still know people who are like, I don't like water, and I'm just like
I'm calling the police on them.
calling the cops.
Gotta hydrate.
You know why? Because they probably and right now I usually drink Path Water, sponsored by Path Water.
Send me some
Always
bath.
dropping it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna send you some Path Water, Alexi. I'm gonna send you some Path Water so we
We
can
love,
get rid of these.
yeah,
bottles
son,
and
and my
shit.
dad
But,
like excited about
yeah,
this.
this is no good. This shit. The reason why people don't like drinking water because this shit is like the more you drink it, the more your fucking mouth get dry.
Yeah,
What the hell they got in here?
know what?
Salt. This shit tastes like sand water, to be honest.
damn water.
Yeah, no.
Not the
Okay,
same.
wait, what's everyone's favorite waters? Like, what is y'all's go-to water?
Like bottled water.
Yeah.
I mean,
Path water.
yeah.
I was gonna say Path is top of the line, but if you don't have access to Path, we're gonna
Right.
go Essentia.
Okay, good choice.
We got the high pH.
I like the
Smart
thermal water.
I don't know any of these waters. I
If
guess
you're getting paid, go ahead and plug them too. But
Yeah.
some people got Brita water filters.
man,
and
you
then,
guys
and then,
got
and
fancy
then,
water.
and then, this is not for you, Lexi, but when I want to have like a chill night, the show wouldn't be a show if I didn't promote
Can.
that.
Yeah. Can I get some can too?
Can is legit. Yeah.
Look at us, we rocking, baby. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's for a smooth fade. That was a plug. Can for a smooth fade. A
Well,
THC infused tonic. All right, that was a commercial.
We're 30 minutes into today's show, and actually, I had the under. I thought it would be 14 minutes until BD drops a plug, a random plug. So this took way longer to get like a can commercial than I thought. Yeah,
The producers just telling me I had to do that. So
that's right. That's right. Can is good, but it's all about
sponsors.
hydration.
Though, speaking of sponsors, this is
Yeah.
sponsored by Sleeper, and we do have a fantasy Who Got Game fantasy whatever we have. League.
It's called a league, Baron. It's called a league.
I would say I wouldn't really say it's a league because people don't trade, right? So I wanted to pop up our teams, Lexi.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, can I time out for a second?
Yeah, please.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
please.
Because I've never participated in a fantasy anything.
Oh wow.
You need to come on. You want
See?
to
So
come on?
can y'all give me like a 30-second breakdown of like what it is?
Why don't I do this? Because these two clowns have the worst teams in the league. They don't know much. All right.
It's
so
cool.
you draft at the start of the season, a couple days before the NBA tip off. We all got together, 14 people in the league, and we drafted. So like first overall pick, James Harden, second pick, Giannis, third pick, LeBron, whatever. And you just go snake back and forth through, I think, 14 different rounds, and you build your squad. And then you pick throughout the year. It's like this week, maybe I'm playing BD's team. We're head to head. And I've got my lineup of Bradley Beal and Jason Tatum and Fred VanVleet and Nikola Jokic and all these guys against his lineup of DeMar DeRozan and LaMelo Ball and all the rookies that he drafted or whatever. And whoever gets the most points, however well they play, that's who wins that league. You track their stats, their scores. But it's easy enough. But you make trades throughout the year. So like I can trade guys from my squad. Trey made a horrible trade. He gave up Bam Adebayo and some other good players for Kevin Durant.
Hey, I'm a KD guy, man. I'm a KD guy, so I thought it was gonna work out for me.
So Lexi, in a nutshell, I translate this.
Yes.
You get a team. You are the manager and the owner. You get a certain set of players, right? Like two in every position, and you get to pick which team they play against for that week to see how many points that person can get for that one game in that week.
Yeah.
And so on the Sleeper app, which will invite you in because you can manage a team with Trey and help him out.
He needs help.
He needs a lot of help. With Sleeper, it's so easy because all you have to do, open up the app and then here's my pick. Blake Griffin is playing against, Phoenix this week. I like that. I like LaMelo Ball against Golden State. Actually, I like him against Sacramento. And then you accumulate their stats for the week for points. And then whoever win that week, get a record. And
but I think it's
strategy.
good.
It's strategy. You would like that. You would like that.
There is a lot of strategy involved for sure. Why don't we take a look at the standings so you can see how everyone is doing in this league thus far? So we've got one undefeated team. Crazy 88's 10-0. That team is balling out of control. I think no ID.
I think that's no ID.
No ID. He's team captain.
Go back.
Yeah. Undefeated. I'm in second place. Team Jay-Z Fish 8-2.
No,
I've been on fire lately.
No
too.
idea.
You're last.
Oh yeah, he is Cuban Sensei.
That's Trey. 1-9.
Crazy 88 is BP. Shout out to BP because he.
Hey, Lex, I got injuries, and I'm looking at the player pool, and it ain't looking nice. It's cats that barely get in. Huh?
Who's on your team?
You want to bring my team up? Can somebody bring my team up?
I don't know if we have his team built because it's so bad it would break our graphic.
it don't matter. I'll read it off.
Yeah, why don't you tell her?
No, bring his team up.
All right, so I got Damian Lillard, our guy. I got Jordan Clarkson. I got Gary Trent. Gallinari.
All right, it's already done. Gallinari, that's your fourth best player?
No, I had to sub Gallinari in for KD because KD's out. Right.
Okay.
So I got Bagley, Rudy Gay, Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, Al Horford, Eric Gordon.
This squad would have been great like 8 years ago.
Right, that's what's
fire. Yeah.
All right, so here's the thing: Matisse Thybulle, KD because he hurt, and Patrick Williams.
Doug, how many times are you gonna?
I gotta say that he hurt.
You only get one.
It's like the Lakers championship,
KD.
bro. Put an asterisk. No, I'm just
yeah.
But you know what Trey did? He went for all the third or fourth scorers on the team.
Yeah.
Right? And people who would probably play 30 minutes, probably play 16 minutes, probably get 30, probably get 12. He was going for the guys that he liked, that he know could ball. but he wasn't playing fantasy.
But I didn't think in
You
a
know what I
fantasy
mean?
mind. Boom.
No, you didn't, yeah.
Well, he's not coaching in a fantasy mind because Melo will get off twice a week and go for like 20 something to 30, but Trey don't pick that. He'll pick the 13. You know what I mean? Or he'll pick the game that they sit Melo out, right? So, you know, that's why we had to basically kick Trey off the stage because
it's embarrassing. Why don't we take a look at your squad, BD? Because you've been losing lately too. You're 4-6. You're battling to get in the playoffs. Here's BD's team. If you want to talk about some of these guys, AD getting hurt, that does not help you.
Yeah,
but
AD got hurt for me.
But Vucevic, man, Vucevic has been balling. DeRozan, Kyrie.
Halliburton, he was playing well. DeLon Wright is playing well. LaMelo Ball is playing well. I went guard heavy, and what I wanted was dynamic scores. And so what I have to do now is I have a lot of tradable pieces because a lot of people don't have good guards. So when you look at my guards, you know, Dinwiddie being hurt, that kills me. But when you look at my guards, I can really make a blockbuster trade. Right, and I'm willing to part with Kyrie Irving. Even though I'm not willing to part with Kyrie Irving, I'm willing to part with Kyrie Irving for the best deal.
Okay, well, you've
been
involved in a Kyrie Irving trade once in real life. So, we had a wardrobe change from Trey.
I had the rep. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Got the thinnic. You know, you know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah.
Hey, Lexi, I need a jersey. Can you send us a jersey?
I can.
That'd be fire.
Very exciting when I see people wearing my jersey.
Yeah.
You do.
Very exciting.
You ain't gotta say it. I'm a cop. I'm a cop it when he come out.
Was it always a dream to like go to the WNBA?
Yep, ever since I've been a little girl. My dad actually coached. He coached in the WNBA for a few seasons, so I was still.
So you're like the Steph Curry to the WNBA. You got to like.
I wish people would look at it that way. I really do, but because I'm a girl, it does.
What do you mean?
Because
you are.
You're the first person who has made that comparison to me and my dad. Yeah. Really.
Well, maybe we just need to like shoot a little documentary or something.
I just want to make some crazy threes.
BD, can I break some news?
Yes.
Lloyd Pierce has been dismissed from the Atlanta Hawks.
Wow.
Right. I didn't see that coming.
Wow. I saw that coming.
Really?
I
watched them play last night in Miami. It was a mess.
They have been so much talent in Atlanta.
It was a mess,
bro.
I still think that he would have got a little bit more breathing room, man.
Bro,
yeah.
honestly, I don't think it's his fault. I think it's...
But coaches always got to go.
No, I think it's upper management, bro. Right?
That's usually the case. 9 times out of 10.
Bringing in these dudes, man. When you got chemistry or you're trying to develop chemistry, you know, you have some of these GMs, right? It like take a look at the GM before you always look at the coach. You know what I mean? But GMs are allowed to make these mistakes. But you are building something in Atlanta, right? You're getting overzealous, right? Now you're trying to say, oh, we're making a playoff push. Now you're putting all that goddamn responsibility on the fucking coach, and he's trying to groom his young guys. But I think that they feel like they have something, you know, where they can bring in, you know, someone that can get them to the next level, which, you know, hey, it is what it is. But I don't think it's that team. That team does not really have the structure and build to be, you know, a team that, to me, that can challenge in the East.
They were in panic mode from the jump, though. I mean, the GM was trying to get something for Trey and get those guys situated. And then, obviously, the John Collins fallout with him turning down the money and trying to get paid and them trying to figure it out.
That's bad management, bro. How the fuck?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It all falls on that.
What you think, Lexi? I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. I think most of the issues start from the top, but they're the ones with the power and the money. So, you know, they're going to blame someone. They're going to blame the coach. And, He's a Black coach, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
He played with Steve Nash in Santa Clara.
I just feel like I mean, this is a whole conversation, and I've been around like a lot of NFL players recently because at the facility I'm training at is, you know, a lot of NFL players. So we've had this conversation about, you know, the representation and coaching staffs, you know, all over sports. And I just feel like as a Black coach, you're like, your leash is this big. Mm-hmm. Like you have a young team. Like you have a young team. They started off really well. Mm-hmm. You know, this whole season is weird. It's like the whole East is a shit show. First of all, like all the 4 through 8, they like all have the same exact record. Like, the team is like 2 losses away from falling from 4 to out in the playoffs. So for them to fire him, like, I don't think it's fair. This is a weird season. It's a weird time. I feel like this is one of those, you know, seasons that you're kind of just like, you know, we're just gonna see how it goes. But it's definitely surprising that they got rid of him.
Go ahead, Jason.
Well, it's hard to blame the coach. I mean, there is so much talent there, but there's been a lot of injuries they've dealt with. Gallinari's been hurt. Cam Reddish has been hurt. I know that Capella missed a lot of games early in the season. He's been great since he came back. They've had a lot of guys in and out. Rondo, who's a veteran leader, he's only played a handful of games the whole season.
You got too many people over there. You got
Bogdanovich, he's been hurt. There's a lot of injuries, a lot of in and out, and a lot of personalities. And the team is sort of stuck between win now with all these veterans coming in like Gallo and Rondo and all these leaders, and build for the future. And there's kind of trying to mix both of that together, and it clearly hasn't worked. But there is a lot of talent in Atlanta. They've got a deep roster with guys who can play. So, you know, I hope they figure it out because they're one of my favorite League Pass teams to watch just because on any given night, Trey, Capella, Collins, Herter, they can all go off.
I mean, there's a lot of excitement around them before the season started. Being in Atlanta. And like the people in Atlanta are desperate for like a team to get it together. So between the Falcons and the Hawks, they're like, can somebody please? Like, and they were really excited for Atlanta. And I was excited. I was like, this team's going to be pretty decent. And, you know, things just happen. Like you said, injuries, you know, things that are out of people's control, essentially. So I think it's fine, though.
But I think it's identity. Mm-hmm. Right. And they could easily get themselves caught into a purgatory of shuffling in veteran guys that don't fit, shuffling in free agent guys that don't fit, trading guys, you know what I mean? And so now it's going to be hopefully they can get it together because I love Trae Young. I love Cam Reddish, you know, what he brings to the table, Collins, you know, Hunter. You know, I got a bunch of those guys on my other fantasy team.
There you go.
Hopefully that one's doing a little better.
When I'm doing, you know, I'm killing. But I think that, you know, a lot of times these teams go through an identity crisis, and you have to have the right, you know, especially when you sign a free agent and you bring somebody in with some money and you already got some problems with like your young dudes. It's like, dog, maybe that ain't the right time to be doing that shit. You know what I mean? Maybe you can get somebody with a little bit less talent, you know what I mean, to make sure other people feel a little bit more comfortable when you negotiating, right? So I think that almost too much talent that it's hard. And so with the right coach, maybe they can bring that out. But, you know, they have some systems dysfunction too, because when you put the right chemistry on the floor, it's hard, right? So you have a lot of versatility, but you don't have a lot of execution and effectiveness, and it still relies on Trae Young to go.
BD, you're familiar with Culture Reset from We Believe to the new management, and I mean with Myers and how they built up the Warriors with Steph Curry. That's kind of on a similar situation of what the Hawks need to do and just gut it and bring the right people in, because if you just got a GM that's hitting the panic button, and then you got the coach who don't want to get fired, who's probably lost the locker room, and then you're signing vets just because they're available and just giving them bread, and then you got a guy that's probably played 1 year in college, and then you got another guy who's trying to prove himself, and they're all in the locker room trying to figure it out, and you got one star guy who doesn't want to listen to the vet. it's a disaster waiting to happen. So, obviously you look at the Spurs of old, you look at the Warriors during their championship run, you look at any team that LeBron's been about. It starts from culture reset. You got a strong GM, you got an owner that backs the GM, you got the coach who's on the same page saying, hey, that's why Brooklyn, although Nash and them were giving up 120 points early on, he said, look, Sean Marks, I need this to make it happen. Go get James Harden for me. Okay, cool. Kyrie, left for, some time. We'll support that until he comes back. We got a cushion. Now Kevin gets to rest. We're second in the East. We're the laughingstock the first 10 games. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you have to find that type of support.
But you got to have real basketball minds. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
And they're not in the front office all the time.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, how the fuck are you not having conversations around hoop? You know what I mean? I'd be trying to sub and trade Wilt for Bill Russell, just hypothetical. If I had a GM role, just to play around, you get all this opportunity, all this data, all this research, all this shit, and you can't even put the right, you can't put the right pieces together. It don't make no sense. And then you get an excuse every time after every time, and it can't always be the coach, right? And you can't always selling the dream. Now, Atlanta did draft well. Trae Young, Cam Reddish, Hunter, Collins, Huter, right?
Yeah.
You got 5 dudes.
Yeah. Let them rock like that OKC team back in the day.
And even Okongwu, the rookie from USC, who hasn't gotten minutes because he's behind Collins and Capella, but he could play too one day.
Man, Big O, he's gonna
shout out to Big O.
Yeah, shout out to Big O. He's from LA, so we gotta give him that.
We bias.
Yeah, man, it's and I think that you see it in the WNBA too. You see people. Trying, it's right now in the WNBA, it's almost like a laundromat, a laundromat of coaches and GMs and people just kind of rotating seats in position. Kind of, you need that stability, you need that foundation. Lexi, talk about what y'all got going on in Minnesota, and you guys have been up, you know what I mean, for a long time, you know what I mean? And so, just talk about that organization and what it means to play for an organization like that.
Yeah, I think when you talk about how teams are ran and owned, I think Minnesota is number one in all the WNBA. I thought that way growing up, watching them win all those championships. And now being a part of, I guess people would have considered the last 2 years like a rebuilding year. But the issues that we were just talking about with, signing veterans that, just because, they fit the salary cap or, they want to leave where they're at. We're for the first time facing things like that because our increased salaries. So, salaries are all over the place. So we just signed 3 new veterans on our team. So the last 2 seasons, we pretty much had the same team. And so this year it's going to be really exciting. A lot of teams have new players, new faces, and you've really seen that a lot in the WNBA. So I think it's going to be really exciting.
And talk to us about this team and what you feel like, going into this next season. How you like your chances.
Yeah, I think we're still going to be a very underrated team. The first 2 seasons, I would consider us have been an underrated team. Last season we finished 4th. I didn't finish the season because of concussion. Sylvia, our starting center, didn't finish the season because she had an injury, and we still managed to get to the semifinals, playoffs. I think this season we're going to have a lot more personalities, which sometimes people might be like, do you really want more personalities? But I think all these personalities are going to gel really well, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun playing. It's going to be a very new-looking team, which I think is also going to be really cool. And I think my role is going to change a little bit, but I'm really excited. Whatever role that I have to do, I'm going to be happy to do it. And I just want to bring another championship to Minnesota.
Yeah, I definitely feel like you guys have an opportunity to, be kind of like that underestimated underdog that that has all the right chemistry pieces. Talk about
Right.
Personalities and fit, right? Because sometimes you can have a lot of personalities and they don't fit. But talk
Right.
about sometimes having personalities you were saying that you think will fit, and talk to about why is that important for a team?
I mean, I think every great team, I think there's like pieces that every championship team has had. Like, you have like the shit talker, you
Mm-hmm.
have the person who does the blue collar work. You got the white collar, obviously. You got the superstar. You got your bench mob that might not play a lot, but they have all the energy in the world. Like, you need those people when their number out, they're ready. I think we didn't really have many shit talkers. Now I think we got a really good one in Aerial Powers, which I love. I've always loved that about her game. I played against her in college, and when she was in Dallas, and then in Washington. She won a championship with the Mystics. So now we have even more championship experience. And then we have Kayla McBride, who was always, just a leader. She's more of a leader by her actions type of personality, which I love that. And then we have Natalie Achama, who's kind of like mama bear type of, energy. And, I think we need that, as well, because it all can't fall on Sylvia because she's super mama bear. So I think all of our personalities are going to be really fun. Everyone is, great human beings, good hearts. And I think it starts in the locker room. And that's really always been super important to us and our team.
Love that.
Nice. Well, we're excited. We're excited for what's in store for the upcoming WNBA season and wish you the best of luck, hoping that you come back stronger and better than ever from your concussion. You were balling before that. You were second in the WNBA in steals per game. So not only can you shoot the rock, but you're amazing on the defensive end as well. And Minnesota, like we just talked about, a great franchise, the Lynx there. And getting you and your energy and all the personalities mixed together, it'll be fun to see how it all plays out this year. But we're talking about this current NBA season as well, and we were just talking about Lloyd Pierce getting let go from his job at the Atlanta Hawks. And speaking of Atlanta, All-Star Weekend is going to look and feel a lot different this year than it does in the past, but that is happening just 6 days from now. Will be the All-Star game and all the events taking place at the same time. I'm curious. I mean, Lexi, you're a player. Do you think the All-Star game should be taking place this year? Because we've heard from LeBron, Giannis, a lot of the guys have been pretty critical about it. What are your thoughts?
I don't really see the point of it. I mean, the whole point of All-Star Weekend is the experience.
Yeah.
The game is like, that's why the game is like the last thing on the last night. Like,
it's like on the way out. It's like it's fun, but like
game after I've done all million of the other things the whole weekend. I mean, I really think obviously it's all about money, that, but they could have named All-Stars without a game, and then them having the dunk like, how weird is the dunk contest with no people in the stands gonna be? Like,
how weird is the dunk contest being at halftime?
How long is halftime? Like an hour?
And it's like they want Zion to compete in the dunk contest, but he's in the All-Star game too. Imagine like at halftime, he's like, "Oh, I got to go dunk contest." That's a weird vibe.
And I don't know how's the game? Like, because it's gonna stink because last year's All-Star game was so fun.
It was epic. Yeah, it worked so well.
It's gonna be like, because none of them even want to be there. They're like flying in to go to a jail for 2 days.
I mean, a pretty nice jail, but yeah.
Very nice jail, but
yeah.
I agree with the players, and I'm just like, I mean, obviously it's amazing to be named an All-Star to honor, but the whole point of All-Star is the weekend, and now they've condensed it to like a day and a half.
So, Trey, you cover the Nets, and they've got 3 All-Stars this year. KD, who's the captain, he'll be drafting a team but not playing. Kyrie, who will be starting, and Harden coming off the bench. Are they all kind of pissed that they have to go to Atlanta for this? What
I think they all weren't about it. They didn't find any reason for it. And obviously, like Lexi said, I mean, All-Stars for experience, but also the fans. It's mainly for the fans. And if the fans aren't safe, then you shouldn't be having a game. And, in this particular situation, it's just kind of, It's all crammed together. You know, you're trying to have a weekend. It's kind of like the deodorant, or I mean, not the deodorant, but the body wash that people buy in college, where you got the conditioner, shampoo, and the 3-in-1, and that's what we're going to get in the All-Star game, because you got the game, and then you got the skills competition, you got the dunk and 3-point, and then somehow the players that are actually active in the game are going to have to keep their legs warm and try to put together this Elam ending in the second half, which the game it might go 2 hours extra, just because you have to have that point margin to match. So
it's gonna be interesting.
It's going to be a whole mess, but we all going to sit down and watch it anyway.
Well, we'll all watch it for sure. I hope it's not even more of a mess than just that. Like, you see all these games, people, safety protocols, they're out. We got a bunch of the Raptors, their game's not being played yesterday or this week. Imagine if one guy at All-Star Weekend is maybe tests inconclusive. The 24 biggest stars in the NBA are going to be out.
If you come back with that thing,
right?
And I'm just like, Atlanta, y'all putting the game in Atlanta, of all places.
Yeah.
I love my city. I love Atlanta, but
those Magic City Wings, they're going to be working overtime in the
looking
kitchen.
like Jurassic Park right now.
You have to send those on delivery. You gotta get those delivered. Everything gotta be delivered and sanitized before you get in the hotel. You're gonna have people scaling the hotel walls just trying to get an autograph. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you ain't gonna stop nobody from going to Atlanta. I encourage people to not go to Atlanta, by the way. But I already know it's gonna be people hiding in bushes, jumping on buses. You know what I mean? Trying to sneak in the room service menu under the table to get autographs. So, you know, let's protect ourselves, man. Let's spray the people who are super spreaders. You know, keep your sanitation.
Yeah.
I mean, I said spray them. The party flyers for Atlanta, like they don't care. They do not care.
It's going to be interesting, what that all looks like. Well, Trey, thank you so much for joining us. I know you got to bounce, but we really appreciate all your wisdom, your insight.
Always.
He's got to get back to managing that fantasy basketball squad because, you know, he spends a lot of time on that. It's not working out well.
Let me help you.
I got you. I'll send over the keys.
Lexi. Yeah, thank you.
Nice. Well, thank you, Trey. And BD, like we said here at Who Got Game, you never know who's going to come through. As one guest leaves, another one may come in. Who you got for us coming on next?
Oh, my man. He is, I wanted to, you know, hot topic of the week, and we'll call this hot topic, is, you know, NFTs, Bitcoin, you know, Lexi, I don't know how much you've been hearing about it, but the guy that I'm bringing up, you know, my brother Jamal Boykins is, you know, one of the early investors in Bitcoin. I would say I'm trying to coin him as the Bitcoin homie. You know what I mean? I think, you know,
I'll take it.
I'm trying to brand somebody always, but you know, he's you know, a big bro to me. You know, a legend in LA, coach, sports, you know, business. And I think that, you know, I just want to bring him up, you know, so we could just get into this whole Bitcoin NFT for our audience so they can understand what it is.
Yeah.
What else, though?
Welcome, Jamal.
Yo, thanks for having me, man. You know, I think we should just get right into it. I mean, have y'all heard of NBA Top Shop?
Yes. This has been blowing up. Yeah.
You said, what is
Top Shop? Explain that for us, Jamal, please.
I've seen it everywhere.
Yeah, real simply put, NBA Top Shop is a future of, think about trading cards and what they meant, sports memorabilia, what that meant back in the day. What NBA Top Shop is doing, they're putting out digital highlights. Oh, okay, he's got his sports card. They're putting out digital highlights of players, and you're able to trade them in a marketplace. So I can just give you this example. A LeBron James and a Zion Williamson highlight sold as an NFT recently for $208,000. And it sounds ridiculous, but this is about scarcity and demand. There's a finite number of NFTs.
Oh, that is crazy, actually.
Yeah, it is crazy. I know he paused for 1 second there, but we'll get him back. It's they don't want us knowing about this. That's why someone's coming in there messing with the Wi-Fi. But as Jamal was saying, these NFTs are blowing up. And when I first heard about Top Shot, I was like, man, this is crazy. It's like
So you're basically paying for a highlight video?
So when I first heard about it, I was like, why would someone pay for a YouTube clip that anyone can watch? This doesn't make any sense to me, right? I don't get it. But it's because there's only 300 of these and you actually own it. You own a piece of this, right? And then you can buy it and trade it. There's a marketplace for it. It's basically the same as a card. It's just you can't actually touch it or feel it. It is all digital. It is like I own that piece. I can sell it. I can trade it. I can buy them. And you buy packs. You pop packs of cards. You just do it digitally. You don't know what you're going to get. And those packs go for anywhere from $9 to $99. But the cards inside could be worth thousands of dollars. You have no idea.
Yeah, so think about it. Yeah, think about it like a clip, right? So instead of you just getting, a stagnant photo with your stats, right? You actually getting, the photo with your stats and the clip, right, of that moment when, you hit your game-winning shot, right? Or, you pulled up, and tied the game at the end of the game. Now that is a valuable moment. And that moment, what they're doing is taking and creating that moment into a collectible, right? And so now I can go into my phone and that is mine. That is my moment. You know what I mean? And I kind of own that because that is a piece of you, the history of, the history of the links, the history of the shot, and the value of that is going to become rare, right? Because you're never going to do that again. Right. And so the capture around that becomes something that people love to trade, just like a basketball card, but it's more from an interactive perspective. So if you got a locker of everybody's highlights, right, and you own that, right, that's a valuable asset to a fan. And so, even thinking about yourself and your content, right, your games, right, your brand, who you are, there are opportunities for you to collaborate with a dope designer like myself and Jamal and Jason, and we create this Lexi Brown NFT, you know what I mean, before the WNBA season. The designer. But Jamal, talk to us about, we kind of want to, if NFTs were players, right? Or if it, what is Bitcoin?
While Bitcoin and NFT, these are two different things because NFT stands for non-fungible token. You know what I mean? A Bitcoin is sold on the exchange. Bitcoin is mine. The NFT is put out either by a private party or one person directly. They decide the amount of NFTs that they're going to put out. So it's a completely different ball game. I love the fact, though, that the NFTs are actually bringing a lot of people into the cryptocurrency space. And you look at NBA Top Shot, out of all the NFT marketplaces, it's the top one. Right now, they've done like 230 million in sales in a very short period of time.
Yeah, they're still just in beta right now, and they're already blown up like this. Jamal, how early did you get into Top Shot? Because I'm kicking myself. Someone texted me about 5 weeks ago, said, "Hey, check this out, sign up." And at the time, 5 weeks ago, I was like, "Man, why would I pay for YouTube clips of a player that I can watch for free?" Didn't make sense to me. Now, clearly, I get it. I signed up a week ago. I got my first pack. I'm in. I've been on the marketplace. I get it now. I didn't then. How early did you get in?
Well, I would say I heard about NFTs about 2 years ago, but let me just tell you this. You're still early. You're still extremely early. So we are at the infancy stage. You just said that NBA Top Shop is in this beta. So we're still early. So don't think you missed the train. Yeah, go to NBATopShop.com. They're actually doing a drop really soon. So you want to make sure you have your email set up with that. But
there
you can go to the marketplace.
Yeah, but there are also other ones like art. You can get music,
Yeah.
you can get games, you can get emojis.
But what's
You
great
know,
about Top Shot is we all love basketball, we all love the NBA, you know, and it combines the world.
Wait. Top Shop
Yeah.
does not sponsor Who Got Game.
Yet.
So Top Shop, if you are out there,
Right.
and you need us to continue to be your evangelists,
Yeah.
right?
Otherwise,
We
we're
already
turning.
got. Yeah, I mean, look, you trying to get Lexi to sign up, you know what I mean,
Right.
for Top Shop, and we already convinced her, but Top Shop not the label that pay us. So
Yeah.
let's.
And
get
how much
Top
are the
Shop.
players
Yeah,
getting
the
from all of this?
money from
Because
this?
Top Shop, would you like to come on the show and answer that question?
Their gym is being sold for $200,000. I mean,
Well, what's interesting, the players are all a part of it. Obviously, it's part of the Players
Yeah, because the
Association.
collective bargaining.
I did have a conversation with one of the heads of the community lead of Top Shot on Clubhouse last week, and he was saying that they're going to start doing drops of retired players too with the Retired Players Association. So they're going to have Shaq drops and AI.
Hey, we doing that too. Now,
So you know where I'm going with
that
this?
too.
Like,
Yeah.
I want my BD dunking on Karolinko moment,
Yeah,
you know. And
buy it from BD.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
we
What
need
I
to
tell
know
you,
what's
man.
done going for my
Look.
dad. That would go.
That's right.
That was the number.
That part.
Yeah.
That part.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. We can talk about NFTs all day with Jamal. I think Top Shop is the leader. Top Shop, we would love to have you as a sponsor. We would love to market you and your drops. But Jason, if you would like a BD Top Shop, you don't need to go to Top Shop. You can come to BD. What is it called? The BD Exchange, and I have my own NFT.
Is that a joke or is that real?
Yeah, that's coming. That's
Okay, I didn't know.
Well, then I'm
Right.
Working on.
Got so many things.
Yo, BD trying to cut out the middleman.
I like.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Okay.
You know.
with all my
I'm
questions.
in.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like, but to that point, you know, Slick is always for the people, and Slick is a place where, you know, we get to kind of own our own narrative, and so we've been looking at NFTs in this space and kind of doing deals direct to artists, so artists can have their own vault and their own library, and so you know, a lot of times I think it's great for us to, you know, be a part of this growing ecosystem, but we have to start carving out space where even if we don't know it, we know what our value is to it, and being able to, you know, really being able to express our creativity. Because Lexi, once you figure it out and all the things you can do, you have so much creativity. You have, you know, you have such a big brand, you have such a great following, and you have so much to come that, you know, I would sign up all day to be on your mailing list when you drop your NFTs. So,
Hey, let me ask y'all this. How do y'all feel about amateurism? Like, you know, college players, high school players being able to get in on the NFTs.
I love it. I love it. It's an investment in their career. It's an investment in their families. It's a way for them not to take money from the NCAA and get caught up in some BS, right? But it's also, you know, these kids handle their socials is valuable. They know their value. And I think being able to buy into their value, right, and be along for the ride, you know, creates a better and even more intricate and more valuable story, right? When you're thinking about, you know, if I would have got, you know, Lexi Brown when her McDonald's token, right? If I would have got a Zion token for a McDonald's. So I don't want to keep giving away game because the good thing is only 10 people. We're going to edit this shit down anyway. Jason, we don't pull in a crowd, bro. Sorry. That's okay. We'll work on it. But I know, Lexi, you got to go.
Lexi, thank you for joining us. Best of luck this year with the links. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Lexi,
and we
send me a jersey.
That's right. Yeah, we want that jersey up.
I
need it.
Nice. Thanks, Lexi. Okay.
Jamal, Jamal, we're gonna be having you on the show basically because we don't want to overexalt on Top Shot, but we do want to start creating our own.
Right.
Slick NFTs and start valuing our fantasy players, and we're gonna pick players hypothetically and let you break down what you think the value of that highlight or that NFT will be worth, regardless of if Top Shot makes it or not.
Got it. No, I love it. I love it, man. I feel you, BD, on just trying to be careful about how much information you put out, man, because you know what I mean? You got a lot of game, you got a lot of ideas, man, and you put it over the airways, somebody try to run off with it.
Yeah, but Top Shop is first. I think, they're setting a strong example of, what the culture, if they're responsible and looking at, can have a seat at the table in their own ownership. So, shout out to Top Shop, shout out to, BlockFi, shout out to FlowChain, shout out to,
Nifty.
Nifty, big shout out to Altura. I believe I just invested in Altura. All these places are really starting to kind of grow. Shout out to Swan Bitcoin.
Right.
Shout out to PDS, which is the blockchain technology that we'll be using for Slick. Shout out to Vidi. Just all the people and the pioneers in this space that, we really want to, I think a new wave is coming, and I appreciate you, Jamal, for being on the show. And we're going to be having you coming in more often to talk about this NFT game.
No doubt. I appreciate it.
All right,
yeah, man. Thank you, Jamal. It's definitely taken off. And I wish we had this show 2 years ago so you could have told us about some of these things back when you were on it early. Could have made a lot more money. That's right.
You're still early. I'm going to keep drawing that message, man. You're still early, bro.
Still early.
I was still early, but still, it's, like the difference from a month ago, even on Top Shot already, when there was packs available for $9. Now you're up there at the sneaker drop. You got like 200,000 people in line trying to get a pack. I do think it's still early, but it's already more and more people are on to it.
They're going up. Shout out to Top Shop, man, for being a pioneer. It's Top Shop. Why don't you pay us, man? Let's get some bread.
For sure.
Right. With some free packs, at least, just to drop some packs our way.
Right. That'd be enough, huh?
That's enough. That's enough. And then we'll go to Jamal. He'll tell us how to work the marketplace. That's right.
No doubt.
I need some real tokens with that, too, if we're going to be Top Shopping our whole last segment. But Jamal, appreciate you, dog.
Nah, thank y'all.
You want to wrap this thing up, man?
Let's wrap this up real quick. Bring it back to fantasy basketball. This is a short week in the NBA season because we got All-Star coming up on the weekend. But there is a big revenge game this week. And I'm curious, did you ever get extra hyped up, BD, when you go play your former team, like the first time back against the Hornets or the first time back against the Warriors or the Clippers when you come back and you play in LA? Did you get extra juiced for those games?
Yeah, it's always like a weird feeling, because you used to go in your old locker. You used to like driving up and pulling in the driveway of the team. So now you're on the bus. It's a different experience, but all in all, you just want that win, dude. You want to do whatever it is to get that win because you're going to get booed. You know what I mean? People going to be having mixed feelings, but more importantly, like on the inside, in the interior, there's a lot of hugs and high fives and, with the people that you work with for so long. And like, you see them have kids and raise kids and, they see you become a kid to an adult. So, really you just want that win. You want to go out there, after the game and be happy as hell and not, let them be like, all right, man, good job. Like, oh, we miss you. Like, now you want to be like, all right, I'll see y'all later. I'm good over here. What I mean? So.
Yeah. Well, this week, only a couple games on the slate, but James Harden is returning to Houston for the first time since being traded by the Rockets. That is happening on Wednesday. And then the following day, Kelly Oubre returns to play against the Phoenix Suns. Not quite as marquee of a return or matchup as Harden, but these are two things in our league, the sleeper league, where you got to pick one guy to start on one game. Those are two games that if you have in your league, James Harden or Kelly Oubre, you might want to circle the calendar because they may bring a little something extra to the table when James returns to Houston on Wednesday night.
Yeah, and I also, if I'm fantasy, I'm looking at, who on Houston, right? So, you know, somebody on Houston could have a big game because they got a lot of interchangeable guards.
Yeah.
You know, I think John Wall will have a great game. So whoever has him, you know,
I'll trade him to you. I'll trade him to you. What do you want? Let's make some trades. You need some help. Let's go.
I got you.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate it. And then headed into All-Star, we didn't really get on All-Star, so we'll just circle back and have us a little All-Star 1-2-1-2 to see, you know, what you think about All-Star, who the snubs are, things like that. And maybe we'll have a little watch party with our fans on Clubhouse or something like that.
I like that. That's a good idea. All-Star Sunday. It's all going down. The skills competition, 3-point before the game, All-Star game, and the dunk contest at halftime. It's going to be fun to watch, even though the players are annoyed that they have to go and do it. But it'll definitely be fun. And then let's take a quick look before we wrap here at some big games this week, Monday through Thursday. Some big matchups. The Clippers and Celtics. Suns-Lakers should be a good one.
Lakers going to be huge.
Big one.
Lakers is going to be a pivotal game because,
absolutely,
you know, it's a confidence game, you know, going into the All-Star. You know, the Lakers just smacked up on the Warriors, but I also like that Jazz 76er game. You know,
that's a huge one. Jazz Sixers. Philly's been playing great, and obviously no one's been hotter than Utah over the last month and a half, 2 months of the season. So that'll be a great matchup as well. Some big games taking us into All-Star, and BD and myself will be here every Monday throughout the rest of the season, letting you know who got game. As you can see, we're going to have all sorts of fun guests popping in and out. It's a big fantasy sports fun house here on Who Got Game. You don't know who's coming through, but BD will always be here, keeping the jokes, bringing up the sponsors that we're getting, like Can and Top Shot. That's right. Wow. Oh, he even drops his own track, his own theme song. Okay.
You can go to the dispensary, buy at your will. I just had to let you know I need a slow fade, and I can't let go. Just kidding.
Wow, that's a little something extra for you. That's impressive. Not only the promotion, but also comes up with the theme song. Can taking you out. Yes, I can. Okay, he's doing it. That's right.
It wouldn't be a show if I didn't take me a squig, you know?
That's right. Time to chill.
I had a can before, so that's why I was pretty mellow today.
Okay, that's all right. Even Mellow BD has more energy than most people I know. You still bring it. You still bring it, man. Well, good seeing you, BD, and thank you, everyone, for joining out there. Tune in every Monday. Who Got Game the rest of the season. I'm Jason Zone Fisher. I got game. My fantasy squad's got game. We got some big matchups coming up, and you'll want to join us every week right here. Slick Sports Lifestyle in the Culture presents Who Got Game.